Assalamualaikum and hello everyone! Today, I will be presenting about Microsoft Copilot Study and Learn using interactive flashcard for better quiz preparation. In this presentation, I will discuss how artificial intelligence can support students in their daily academic life, especially during revision and quiz preparation. My focus is specifically on the use of interactive flashcards, which can help students revise important information in a shorter and more organized way. I decided to choose this topic because students often face difficulties when studying from long lecture slides or notes. Therefore, I want to explore how Microsoft Copilot Study and Learn can help students simplify learning materials, create flashcards, and prepare quizzes for more people. Artificial intelligence, or AI, has become increasingly useful in education. Today, students use AI not only to search for information, but also to help them understand topics, summarize long notes, generate questions, and even practice before any assessment. One example of an AI learning tool is Microsoft Copilot Study and Learn. This feature can support students by turning learning materials into interactive study activities such as quizzes and flashcards. This makes the revision process more active because students are not only reading the information but also testing themselves. In this presentation, I am going to focus on the interactive flashcard because flashcards are simple but effective for revision. They usually have a question on the one side and an answer on the other side. This format encourages students to think of the answer first before checking it. This is important because many students usually revise by reading notes or memorizing information. However, with flashcards, students can practice active recall, which means they actively try to remember the answer. This can help them identify what they already understand and what they will still need to improve before a quiz. Problems that students face when preparing for quizzes. The first problem is that learning slides provided by lecturers often contain a very long and detailed explanations. Although the content is important, it can become overwhelming for students when they are trying to revise. For example, when students open a slide with a full paragraph, they may feel there is too much information to read and understand at once. This can make the revision process feel tiring and stressful, especially when there are too many slides to study. Based on my own experience, after reading long explanations, students often realize that the main points can actually be simplified into a shorter points. However, the process of identifying the key points takes time. Students need to read through the paragraph, understand the meaning, highlight important information, and rewrite it in a simpler notes. This can slow down the revision process, especially when students are preparing for quizzes in a limited time. The second problem is that making flashcards manually can take a long time. Flashcards are useful because they help students revise through questions and answers. However, creating them from scratch requires effort. Students need to choose the important points from a suitable questions, write correct answers, and organize the flashcard properly. This becomes more challenging when students are doing a last-minute revision or when they have several topics to cover. The third problem is that many students still depend on passive study methods such as rereading notes and memorizing information. These methods may help students remember facts for a short period of time, but they do not always help students understand the topic deeply. For example, a student may memorize a definition, but they may not know how to explain it or apply it in a quiz question. Thus, because of this problem, students need a learning tool that can help them simplify long materials, save time when using revision tools, and encourage more active learning. This is where Microsoft Copilot Study and Learn can be useful, especially through its interactive flashcard feature. Next, this slide shows the process of using Microsoft Copilot Study and Learn for quiz preparation. The first step is to upload lecture slides, notes, or PDF. Students can use their own learning materials as the source. This is helpful because the flashcards generated by Copilot can be based on the actual materials provided by the lecturer instead of some random information from the internet. The second step is to ask Copilot to generate flashcards. Students can give a clear instructions, such as create flashcard from these notes for my quiz revision. This makes the process easier because students do not need to manually turn every paragraph into questions and answers. The third step is that Copilot identifies the key points from the materials. This is one of the most useful parts because students often struggle to decide which information is important. Copilot can help highlight the main ideas, important terms, definitions, and even examples from the learning content. The fourth step is that flashcards are created in a question and answer form. This format is useful because it separates the information into smaller parts. Instead of revising a long paragraph, students can focus on one question at a time. This makes the learning process more manageable. The fifth step is that the students review the flashcards. Students can look at the question first and try to answer it without looking at the answer. This encourages active recall because students need to retrieve the information from memory. The final step is that students check the answer and revise the read topics. If they get the answer wrong or feel unsure, they can go back to the lecture slides or notes and study the topic again. This helps students understand which areas they already know and which areas still need improvement. Overall, this process shows how Microsoft Copilot Study and Learn can make quiz preparation more structured. It helps students move from a long learning materials to a shorter flashcards and then from the flashcard to active revision. For this slide, I will show a short video demonstration of how the interactive flashcards work. Before playing the video, I will briefly explain what you will see. The flashcard has two sides, the front side and the back side. The front side contains a question, while the back side contains the answer and sometimes an example or explanation. In my example, the question is based on the first chapter of the subject Cosmopolitan Communication. Students should try to answer the question first before flipping the card. This is useful because it trains students to recall information from memory instead of immediately reading the answer. Students need to pause and think. This makes the revision process more active. Then, when the card is flipped, the back side shows the answer. After finishing the flashcards, students can view their score to see how well did they do on the quiz. Now, we will play the video demonstration. For this slide, I will show a short video demonstration of how there are several benefits of using interactive flashcards in Microsoft Copilot Study and Learn. The first benefit is that it simplifies long learning materials. As mentioned earlier, lecture slides often contain long explanations. This can make students feel overwhelmed, especially when they are revising close to a quiz. Interactive flashcards can help by turning long content into shorter questions and answers. This allows students to focus on the key points instead of reading the same long paragraph repeatedly. The second benefit is that it saves time. Reading flashcards manually can take a lot of time because students need to read, select important points, create questions, and even write the answer. While Microsoft Copilot Study and Learn, students can generate flashcards more quickly based on their learning materials. This is especially useful for students who are studying at the last minute or managing several subjects at the same time. The third benefit is that it encourages active recall. Active recall happens when students try to remember the answer before checking it. This is different from passive study methods like rereading, where students may feel familiar with the content but may not actually remember it during a quiz. With flashcards, students are constantly testing themselves, which can help strengthen their understanding. The fourth benefit is that it helps students identify good areas. When students use flashcards, they can easily notice which question they can answer and which question they struggle with. This helps them to know which topics need more revisions. Instead of studying everything again, students can focus more on the parts they do not understand. The fifth benefit is that it makes quiz preparation more organized. Flashcards divide information into smaller sections so students can revise step by step. This makes studying feel less messy and more manageable. Students can also repeat the flashcards until they feel more confident with the topic. Lastly, interactive flashcards can make studying more engaging. Compared to only reading slides, flashcards make students interact with the content. This can make revision process more interesting and less boring. Overall, the benefits show that Microsoft Copilot Study and Learn can support students by making revisions faster, clearer, and more. Although Microsoft Copilot Study and Learn has many benefits, there are also some limitations that students need to consider. One limitation is that AI-generated flashcards may not always be completely accurate. Sometimes, the answer may be too general, incomplete, or slightly different from the lecture. Because of this, students should always check the flashcards with their lecture slides, textbook, or class notes. Another limitation is that students may become too dependent on AI. Flashcards are helpful, but they should not replace proper study. Students still need to read and understand the full learning materials, especially for topics that require deeper explanations or application. Besides that, AI may not include every important point from the lecture materials. If the slides are too long, unclear, or not properly uploaded, some details may be missed. Therefore, students should review and edit the flashcards when necessary. Another limitation is access. Students may need internet access or Microsoft 365 availability to use the feature. Not all students may have the same access to the tool. Therefore, Microsoft Copilot Study and Learn should be used as a supporting study tool. It can help students revise better, but students need to use their own judgment and refer to reliable learning materials. In conclusion, Microsoft Copilot Study and Learn is a useful AI-based learning feature that can support students in quiz preparation. Through interactive flashcards, students can turn long learning materials into shorter and clearer revision points. This feature is helpful because it saves time, simplifies notes, supports active recall, and helps students identify weak areas. It also makes studying more organized and interactive, especially for students who need to prepare for quizzes within a limited time. However, students should use feature wisely. AI-generated flashcards should always be checked for accuracy, and students should continue referring to lecture slides, textbook, and lecture explanation. Overall, Microsoft Copilot Study and Learn shows how artificial intelligence can support students in daily academic life. By using interactive flashcards, students can prepare for quizzes in a more focused, effective, and engaging way. That's all from me. Thank you.